joy to introduce our very dear Pixie Harvey. She has been a long time member of Unity of White Rock and a very active member. Pixie, if you haven't known, has been enthralled with the natural world since she was a very little child. This ignited a passion for science and launched her on her path of spiritual growth. Pixie has been involved in Unity since 1990, serving on boards of directors of Unity of Ottawa, Unity of Action, which is now New West, and Unity of White Rock. She's currently on our leadership team, and she's committed to social justice and deep ecology. Pixie also is a mother, musician, singer, organic gardener, beekeeper, and Reiki practitioner. Pixie's rich spiritual life and background in the science and social justice have led to intriguing insights, which she is happy to share with us. Pixie, all yours.
Thank you, Rosie, but I think we're going to hear first from Delaney.
You're absolutely right. Delaney will delight us with her song, Angels, and then it's all on to you.
Perfect. Take it away, Delaney.
Hey, good morning, you folks. Gonna do my angel song. I think you guys know it. I think some of you sing along with me all the time anyways. When you're down and alone, don't know where to go, there's someone out there who'll take you back home. Angels are here now. They want you to let them through. Angels are here now. You don't have to do anything at all but be you. You're on the street, no home, no soul are here now. You don't have to do anything at all. But be you, and they'll find you.
Well, thank you, Delaney. And I certainly feel angels around me now. And I'm going to start today with a meditation before my talk. So I invite you now to take a deep breath in and relax and feel totally supported by your chair or wherever you're sitting. Breathe in and breathe out, letting out all the worry and tension that might be in your body. Another deep breath in and breathe out all the stress and worry that might be around you. And when you feel ready, if it's comfortable, you can close your eyes or gaze downward and continue to focus on your breath as you feel the stress in your shoulders, your head and your neck flow out as your neck and shoulders feel soft and relaxed. Feel the energy moving down your arms and out your fingertips. Soften your chest and soften your shoulders. And let all the energy flow out through your breath, down your arms. And as you continue to breathe, feel your belly and your hips soften, and any stress or tension flow down, out through your legs and feet and out into the earth through the bottoms of your feet. Allow any tension or stress in your legs, knees, ankles, and feet drain away through the bottoms of your feet and into the earth. Stay with your breath now and imagine yourself walking beside the ocean on a warm day. Dipping your feet into the water, you find the water warm and inviting, so you walk in. In the distance, you see a pod of orcas playing and leaping in and out of the water. You wade in deeper to get near them, and feeling the warm ocean water on your skin, you allow yourself to float easily in the water. Feeling relaxed and pleasantly warm in the ocean water, you gently submerge your whole body under the water and discover how easily and effortlessly you can breathe in this calming place, and how gracefully you are gliding underwater, popping up every few moments to see other orcas around you, greeting you and inviting you to play with them. So you join them, cavorting through the waves, splashing freely in this nurturing environment. You are calm, centered, and exhilarated as you feel what it is like to be an orca, communicating playfully with other orcas. You find yourself delightfully riding a huge wave, and looking up towards the sky, you notice an eagle flying overhead. As you breach out of the water with the other orcas, you begin to take flight, noticing how easily you float on currents of warm air as you breathe gently. With utter freedom and delight, you glide over the treetops, fields, and streams. You notice how tiny everything looks from your new vantage point. What a feeling! You stop for a rest atop a huge tree next to the beach and notice some small children playing in the water and other kids playing in the sand. Feeling a strong sense of belonging and connection with these children, you swoop down and land on a large rock near the beach. Settling on the rock, you stretch out your wings and notice they become arms as the children run toward you to greet you. Standing up, you feel your human body again. The same feelings of freedom, delight, and connection fill your entire being. You know deep down that you are one with all living things, one with the divine. And as you breathe in, you come back to this place with that feeling of oneness, connection, and divinity. Wiggle your hands and your feet, your toes. Take a deep breath. And return to the third dimension, where here we are, the first Sunday of Advent. Advent, the season that prepares way for the birth of our Christ consciousness. As we all sung together in that beautiful song, Joy to the World, let every heart prepare him room. The metaphysical interpretation of those words is obvious. Clear out some space, get rid of those limiting thoughts, and make room for the Christ consciousness to come alive. Advent is a journey to our true nature, and it begins with hope, belief, or faith, depending on the state of our consciousness as we begin that voyage. But more about this a little later. Getting back to the daily word that we heard today, there was one line in that really strikes me. And that line reads, I use faith to dismantle doubt and limitation. Dismantling doubt, limitation, fear, resentment, and other thoughts and emotions that no longer serve us is a key step in the process of release. Throughout November, we have been exploring in depth our power of elimination, our ability to release. Well, we're at the end of November now, and it's time to let go of letting go. Next slide, please, Angelica. But first, I think it's worthwhile to consider what happens to those thoughts and emotions when we release them. Do they just dissipate into shining ether? Are they sucked back into a black hole in the cosmos? Or are they recycled into energy that we can put to good use on our spiritual journey? Well, let's find out. Next slide, please, Angelica. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore nailed it when he wrote, "Thoughts are things. They occupy space in the mental field." Next slide. And he also wrote, "Letting go of old thoughts in order that new thoughts may find place in consciousness. A healthy state of mind is attained when the thinker willingly lets go the old thoughts and takes on new. This is illustrated by the inlet and outlet of a pool of water." I love Charles's analogy to the flow of in and out of a pool of water. Everywhere I look in nature, we find divine law manifested. I believe this is so that everyone can understand divine law and metaphysics without needing to know how to read or even how to understand spoken language. At the quantum level, thoughts and feelings are energy. So where does that energy go when we release it? In high school physics, we learned that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be converted and transformed. For example, electrical energy can be converted into heat, like in your kitchen stove. And energy of motion can be converted into electricity, like a hydroelectric dam and generating station. Next slide. Next slide, please. This conversion of energy can be observed throughout nature. Trees capture radiant energy from the sun and water and minerals from the soil and convert those basic forms of energy into leaves, branches, and seeds that produce new trees. In the autumn, the leaves die and fall to the ground where they decompose, releasing back into the soil the very same minerals that the roots of the tree had gathered up in the previous spring and converted into leaves and flowers. These recycled minerals will be taken up by the roots of the tree in the following spring and converted again into small branches, leaves, flowers, and seeds. Little seedlings take radiant energy from the sun, water, and minerals from the soil and transform these basic forms of energy into fruits, vegetables, and grains. Animals consume this produce and convert those plants into meat, offspring, and agricultural products like milk. Once digested, some of the plant energy cannot be used by the animals and is eliminated as waste that we call dung or manure. This is black gold or Texas tea to farmers and gardeners. Farmers collect manure, allow it to age, and then spread it onto their fields. Gardeners pay good money for bags of manure for their veggie or flower gardens. The minerals, bacteria, and fungi in the manure replenish the soils with the nutrients taken from the soils by the plants to produce the crops eaten by the animals who donated the manure. So as you can see, there is an ongoing recycling system on our planet that sustains all life on Earth. Do the thoughts and feelings we release from our consciousness fit into this planetary recycling system? Even if some of those thoughts and feelings feel like crap, they don't nutrify the soil, or do they? Well, based on my lived experience, I believe they do nutrify the soil. And here's why. Next slide, please, Angelica. A couple of months after my husband died, I was invited to participate in an Indigenous healing ceremony for women in grief. I hoped this ceremony would relieve the deep sadness that was dragging me down and draining my energy, so I accepted the invitation. I left my little son, 3 at the time, with a babysitter and headed to the sacred place we were to meet. In the forest where we gathered, the attending medicine woman asked us to look around and find a stone that spoke to us. She explained that the grief that was preventing us from moving forward with our lives and serving our communities would eventually become toxic to our spirit. But that grief contained an energy that, when released in ceremony to the earth, would be converted into healing energy for the trees, plants, and other creatures of the forest. Next slide, please. After praying and smudging, the participants in this ceremony we were all invited to hold our special stones against our foreheads, our hearts, and then our bellies, and pour all our grief and sadness into our stones. I cried a river into my stone. Then, one by one, each of us buried our stone at the base of a large, rather straggly and sickly-looking tree, as the others held sacred space by praying, then singing, and then drumming. Following another round of smudging, the medicine woman gave each of us a small medicine bundle, a little bag containing a few plants, a couple of small pebbles, and a feather to remind us of our strength and faith to move forward on our life's journey. I wasn't crippled by grief when Normand died, but I did feel a heavy cloak of sadness around me. That sadness invaded my thoughts and sapped my energy when I was not preoccupied caring for my son or working on a project at the office. Next slide, please. As the sacred ceremony drew to a close, I sensed that cloak of sadness melt away, and I began to feel light and free. In the following days, I experienced an incredible lightness of being and felt real joy that I hadn't felt in what seemed like months. There was an immediate boost in my energy level, coupled with an increased creativity in problem solving, both at work and in parenting my son. Next slide, please. About 2 months later, I took my son to show him the sacred tree where the ceremony for mummies, as I had called it, had taken place. I was astonished to see that sickly-looking tree was now vibrant and robust. And then I remembered that 25 women had buried stones infused with deep grief close to the roots of that tree. It made perfect sense to me then, an avid gardener and a fan of compost and manure, that the tree looked strong and healthy. The energy of all that grief had been transformed into energetic nutrients that fed and held the tree in a state of grace and healed it, just as the medicine woman had described would happen at the outset of the ceremony a couple of months before. Next slide, please. My aha moment came, however, when I imagined a cosmic compost bin that accepts thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, as well as physical and biological waste for recycling. Spent stars, meteors, and other space debris that get sucked into a black hole probably end up in that cosmic compost bin. All forms of energy, physical and non-physical, are transformed into useful substance by the metamorphic processes at work in the cosmic compost bin. Nothing in the universe is wasted. All forms of creation go through endless cycles of transformation. The cosmic mind is constantly creating and recreating. Next slide, please. When we release thoughts and feelings that no longer serve us, we free up space or bandwidth in our consciousness for new life-affirming thoughts, feelings, and creative ideas. After releasing the grief I was carrying, I certainly experienced an increase of creative ideas that dramatically improved my problem-solving abilities at work and opened up wonderful new avenues for playing with my son, supporting his growth and empowering his spiritual development. The hope that I had clung to as I showed up at the healing ceremony evolved into belief when the cloak of sadness melted and I felt liberated and infused with light after burying my stone under the tree. My belief transitioned to faith when I witnessed the divine law operating to transform the health of the tree due to the presence of 25 stones infused with grief energy. No wonder today's daily word touched my heart. It reminded me that my hope and then faith in the operation of divine law dismantled my doubts and limiting beliefs around loss and grief. Years later, I have unwavering faith in the restorative and healing power within me. It's confirmation of my divine nature. For this first week of Advent, we focus on our power of hope and faith. Faith is our ability to believe, and our beliefs determine how we think, feel, and act in any situation. Each one of us has faith. It's one of the divine powers inherent in all of us. It's always there, just waiting to be developed. In her book, Lessons in Truth, Emily Cady talks about the different stages. I think she calls them levels of faith. But I find it helpful to visualize these stages along a continuum so I can identify where I am in a certain situation and recognize the truth of where I can be. At one end, there is hope. The light at the end of the tunnel that can pull us out of the basement of despair and provide the impetus to keep moving forward rather than giving up. Next on this continuum is belief. Reverend Paul Hasselbeck calls this stage blind faith. We experience blind faith when we move forward, instinctively feeling that wherever we are, God is and all is well. We don't know how or why, but we just believe everything will work out, even if from time to time we have some doubts. But the important thing is to persist and continue to hold strong to the truth we believe, even if we aren't sure why. The final stage on this continuum is faith. And Reverend Paul calls this the understanding faith. At this stage, we understand that there are spiritual laws as immutable as physical laws. And we know that when we apply spiritual laws, we are assured of the results that will follow. But we must do something to get the desired result. Next slide, please. No, the next one below. Below that, yeah, yes. Emily Cady explains our key role in doing something to get the desired result in her book, Lessons in Truth. She says this, and I'm paraphrasing here. One of the unerring truths in the universe is that the supply of every good always awaits the demand. Another truth is that the demand must be made before the supply can come forth. You could have a bank account filled with money, but the only way to access it is to request a withdrawal. To recognize these two statements of truth and to affirm them are the whole secret of understanding faith. Faith based on principle. Well, I have been working on a special project now for a couple of months. I'll let you in on the secret. It is to ban thermal coal in Canada. And when I began this work, I was probably at the belief stage on the continuum of faith that Emily Cady talks about. Next slide, please. Over this week, I am committing to strengthen my faith using tools such as denials, affirmations, prayer, meditation, and creative visualization to move myself into the understanding faith stage. And I'm absolutely confident that I will get a perfect outcome if I make a demand and take action. I'm inviting you now to join me in this endeavor. Choose a desire in some area of your life this Advent season and use your innate power of faith to bring it into the third dimension. Regardless of where you might be on the continuum of faith as you get started, you can be assured of the perfect outcome when you strengthen your power of faith day by day and make your demand and take action. That's just the way the divine law works. And that's the way it really is. Thank you and bless you.
Delaney will delight us now with her song, Christmas Time. Take it away, Delaney.
Christmas is coming, I hear the bells. Christmas is knocking, I see the elves. Getting Santa, get ready for Christmas time. Rudolph is ready, he's ready to go. Sleigh bells are ringing, see the snow. Getting Santa, get ready for Christmas time. I see Santa on his sleigh. All the toys are ready to go for Christmas time. Little boys get ready to go. Little girls get dancing, see the snow. Getting ready for Santa for Christmas time. Oh yeah, Christmas time.
Wow, Delaney, thank you so much. And we will hear that more often now up to Christmas. What an exciting news for you. Amazing. And Pixie, oh my, what a beautiful message. It was so reassuring and so heartwarming. Thank you for bringing together the advent of faith and hope with illumination. Wonderful, wonderful talk. Thank you so much.